the Lockly Elite Smart Lock and Video Doorbell. It's a $500 device that locks your doors, records video, and allows you to watch and talk to anyone on your front stoop. And I completely it up. Today, I'll walk you through the installation, what I messed up, and how not to install this smart lock. The Lockly Elite is a smart lock and video doorbell. It comes with a ton of stuff inside. Here's everything laid out after unboxing it. It comes with all the hardware you need, along with signage, 2 batteries, its own hub, and keys and more. If you really want to mess up this lock, just toss the instructions and jump right in. But really, don't do that. My first mistake was assuming that I knew what I was doing. I at least had the foresight to start by charging one of the batteries for the lock before jumping in. While I've installed smart locks before, this one has so much going on and I was using a different setup, it was a totally different animal. Instead of a real door, I used our testing template, and I learned later that it made a big difference in the installation. When installing this in an actual door, you need to start by taking out your existing deadbolt lock. Once that old lock's gone, you should have a hole in your door that looks like this. We've got a video up here if you want to see how to do that correctly. The Lockly deadbolt has 2 settings. To change the sizes, twist the lock into place so it touches the back of the hole in the door. Just be sure to pick the wrong size like I did. While I noticed that the lock didn't sit straight in the frame, I was sure to totally ignore that and just move on with full confidence that it wouldn't matter. That's really important if you want to install this lock wrong. Ignore all the warning signs. Once it's in place, use the small screws to secure the deadbolt plate. For extra flavor, you can strip the screws within an inch of their life. I was far into this process before I realized that the bolt should have been in the locked position at this point. Don't make the same mistake I did. Next, add the exterior assembly. This is the piece that will face any visitors. It's the part with the camera, doorbell, key latch, solar panel, and biometric scanner, so it's heavy. I recommend having a second pair of hands to help with this setup. Slide the latch through the deadbolt and pull the wires under and through. You'll notice that this clip was taken before I read the instructions telling me to keep the lock out. Oops. Now it's time to secure everything in place with the back plate. Slide the wires through the opening at the bottom, and be sure to really wrestle with them. Use the 2 large screws to fix everything in place. Those screws should go through the back plate, deadbolt, and into the exterior assembly. So be patient and line everything up before starting. This is also a good time to test the lock with keys included with your kit. Make sure everything locks and unlocks smoothly. You should be able to pull the keys out when the door is locked and unlocked, because I didn't do that and had to backtrack later.
Which could be part of my installation handiwork, but I'm at least able to lock it and unlock it and take the keys out.
Now it's time to connect the wires from the exterior assembly to the interior. Thankfully, it really wasn't too bad. Just a few hidden wires, one really hard to reach one, and 2 very similar looking ones that required me to stare at them like this for a long time. You might feel like you earned an honorary degree from MIT after completing this, but basically there are 4 connections you'll need to make. And it's all laid out in this super simple, not at all intimidating diagram.
What in the?
There's A1, B1, C1, and D1.
Like that.
Once all of those wires are connected, it should look like this. The worst part of this step was trying to stuff everything back so I could secure the backplate. Due to the nature of my whole doorless setup, this step didn't really apply to my installation process, but it did affect how the lock functions, so don't skip this one. In the kit, you'll find a series of strike plates included with your lock. One of them has a built-in sensor magnet that helps the lock communicate its status. Without that strike plate, my lock insisted that it was both open and locked at the same time, which it kind of was since it wasn't on an actual door.
No!
With that finished, you're done with most of the hardware steps. Now it's time to get your lock ready to pair with the app and its local storage hub. This hub connects directly to your home router and the wall for power. Use the included cables to connect it and download the app while you're waiting. Once the hub's yellow light is blinking, you're ready to start pairing. Scan the activation code included with the Lockly Elite box and your device and app will sync up. Grab the battery you started charging before installation and pop it into place. Once it's activated, you'll need to set a pin, add your fingerprints, and test everything out. Thanks to a lot of unearned confidence, this whole installation process took me around an hour and a half. What did I learn about installation and the Lockly Elite in particular? Quite a bit. First off, instructions are your friend. Even if you're a professional installer or you didn't get your engineering degree out of a cereal box like I did, I had to backtrack several times, which ended up costing me more time than if I just sat and read the instructions in the first place.
Because I didn't do it right.
The interior and exterior assemblies are so beefy and have a ton of steps required to do it right, so you'll definitely want an extra pair of hands to help you. Since I didn't install the lock in an actual door, there was no place for me to put the strike plate with a magnetic sensor. And this really messed with my lock too. After testing its remote locking and unlocking, it beeped like crazy because it wasn't getting that feedback. So I've run into some technical difficulties. I think the fact that this is not attached to a door, it seems to think that it's constantly open. While I doubt many of you are going to be installing your lock in this kind of setup, it could be an issue if your door is misaligned. The lock itself works great if you install it right. The video features produce a tall, narrow picture that seems fitting for front doors, and the combination of a video doorbell and smart lock is really smart. Unfortunately, due to the fudged nature of my initial test, I'm afraid to give it a real review until later. So be sure to follow us and catch when that review comes out. And please, share your own installation failure stories in the comments below. I would love to know that I'm not alone in this. Thanks for watching, and stay safe.